How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
There are public figures today, yesterday, and the day before predicting and all but calling for mass violence and rioting in the streets.
Obviously, Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore. Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore.
That's right. The Republicans, they're the ones out there killing children in churches, killing children in schools, killing all kinds of Christians, killing people at shopping malls, at beaches, around the world, on streets, at Christmas parades. Oh, wait, no. It's not Republicans. Holy cow, folks. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Just between last night, just between this morning and this afternoon, amazing stuff has come to light. More crazy things are happening, but I want to start the show on a positive, all-American Christmas type of discussion. Everyone probably realizes, or maybe you don't. Several years ago, I was provided this by a company called Heritage Pewter. This stainless steel whiskey flask, or whatever you want to put in it liquid-wise, right? A beautiful piece of artwork. They commemorate more than just the Marines, so all of our Army, Navy, and Air Force friends can get things as well. But Heritage Pewter decided they were going to step up their game. And they sent me a Marine Corps keychain with the 250th anniversary seal, as well as a shot glass stainless steel with Marine Corps emblem, 250-year anniversary. Come on, focus. Let's hear it for AI. There it is. And not only did he do that, but he did yet another flask. And I will give you the address for this company. But came in a box, very nicely done. Once again, look at that. A thing of beauty. 250th year anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. Fucking giving me goosebumps. Just showed up today. Seal of authenticity on the back. Not a fake, not a cheap imitation, not a knockoff. American made right here, folks. Right here in America. The company, Heritage Pewter. Heritage Pewter. I'm going to give you the website. www.pewter.com. Pewter. Once again, www.pewter.com. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, man. Wonderful company. This talks about it's just a little slip-in card he put, but there's also a personal message for me from the man himself at Heritage Pewter. Where is the note he sent me? It's here somewhere, doggone it. He put the note on the back of the box. It says, "Hi, John. Have a few Marine Corps 250 products we make in Arizona. Enjoy. And hey, love your show. Semper Fi, Jim B." Jim, I want to thank you. I'm glad you watch the show. I'm glad you value the show. I'm glad you appreciate the effort, the sacrifice, the hard work, the love of country that all veterans and all active duty Americans and those that support them. It really touched me. It really did to get the 250th anniversary. Again, stainless steel, made in America, in Arizona, by real Americans. And Jim, you're a good man. I love it. This, my other flask, it's always within arm's reach, but now I've got two. Anyways, thank you, sir. Merry Christmas. And folks, go to pewter.com. Check out what it is they have. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if Jim and the crew wouldn't make something custom for you. You just probably have to pay a setup. I don't know. But good people, real Americans, hey, if they like me, they must be freaking good Americans, right? Good golly, because you know, I'm kind of a red, white, and blue guy myself when it comes down to what country am I from. And I've got another message, and I guess I could go to this message. I didn't ask for permission to read this or read the person who wrote its name, but I think I can read it. And I'd like to read this to you. It's a very complimentary message, I think, for all of us. John, this is in response to that long message you sent me regarding Nazis and such. It is quite understandable how you feel. It is true that we were all propagandized growing up. Believe me when I say that you are right to feel the way you do, but always remember that the legacy of all those people will forever be alive by those of us who listened, learned, and understood why they died. Their deaths are and forever will be part of a history that cannot be forgotten because of knowledge of those events are too vastly known. Now, pertaining to all those who think you're full of shit, hate you for it, etc., fuck them. They are the ones in the end who will die first, either because they didn't prepare, will be intimidated into submission by the great evil, or they'll die on their own ignorance. And brother, you have no fault for their demise. That will be their decision and theirs alone. They bear the burden of their own destruction. You are a great man, and you are incredibly strong for caring about people the way you and fighting a fight that we all know is an uphill battle. But that is the beauty of this whole mess. These sons of bitches know all along, as people like us are still around, this battle will never be over. I encourage you to continue to speak up, continue to fight, because if we don't, then what the hell are we doing? We fight for our right to live in and free a country that was intended to be free and God-fearing from the very start. But I'll go one further. I fight for things and to give my children a better world than what we had. My kids, your kids, everyone's kids, they are all the next generation. I fear for their future. But you know what? As long as people like us folks, people like us are still around, I have hope. Brother, you never have to thank me for anything. I'm 100% behind you till the end. I want to, you know who you are, who wrote that. And it's because I was getting pissed off. I'm getting pissed off at the weakness of so many Americans. I'm like, are we doing any good? Are we doing any good? And we truly are. We truly are. A friend of mine in marketing the other day was having, going, why do I do what I do? It seems like no one gives a shit. I said, but your numbers, your sales are up. They're amazing. They're top of your company. And I kept hearing, but I'm just not seeing the turnout at my events. I'm not getting the responses from social media posts. I'm not getting this. I said, but what's happening is while people may not show up at your event, they're making the call on the phone. While they not see all of your social media and respond, they're calling the company on the phone and you're stomping it. You're making your company number one in your zone. And I'm like, you may not see it. You may not hear about it. You may not realize it, but somebody, right, is getting the phone calls. People are waking up and using that service. People here, folks, even though our numbers aren't growing because YouTube hides us, X hides us, the big tech hides everything prepper, not just the prepared mind, but all preppers and patriots and Americans, constitutionalists, sportsmen, hunters, everyone. We're being hidden from each other, but truly we are here and we're supported. Like the letter I read of support and the fact that a manufacturer who manufactures this type of stuff for patriots, for Americans, they don't give a fuck. They love America. They support America and they support us. Pewter.com. Let's leave them up there as we get into the show. we're going to talk about some crazy shit that happened today. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard, but in case you haven't, Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered horribly. You might, if you're as old as me or older, remember Rob Reiner as the son of Archie Bunker, affectionately called Meathead. And then Rob Reiner went on to, I would call a successful director. Favorite movie, one of my favorite movies, The Princess Bride, was directed by Rob Reiner. Okay. But he is a very, very left-wing guy. And this is a horrible tragedy because he was killed. Rob Reiner and his wife killed by his son. And his son has now been arrested and charged in the murder of his parents. They were stabbed to death. Their throats were slashed. Horrifying. Yet we're not given a reason. There's no manifesto. There's no admission. There's no social media posts. I think they're hiding it. Now, apparently, the family has had drug problems in their past. That's terrible. It's awful. And Rob Reiner himself suffered from one of the most severe and chronic Trump derangement syndrome out there. He was constantly making absurd claims and threats about Trump and all of us. He was disturbed, and it's terrible. And I don't know if that had anything to do with the murder. I don't know. This is a horrible tragedy, folks. But we continue to learn about youths who act out violently. We see it with Antifa. We see it with BLM. We see it with the transgenders and pedophiles. They have huge mental problems, and it's being promoted by their teachers, by their parents, by their professors, by leaders of these fruitcake groups. I really want to know why this kid, this young man, I should say, killed his father in such a gruesome fashion. Killed him, period, but good golly, a knife? Now, I guess I should talk about this. Murder is considered a crime of passion. What do I mean by that? Crime of passion. Well, when someone's mugged on the street and they're killed, that's a killing for money or for sport, it seems like today. But when it's someone you know, it's considered a crime of passion, meaning you were emotionally tied, emotionally upset, emotionally disturbed. It's a crime of passion. Shooting a gun is more distant, right? You don't have to do a whole lot. You just squeeze a trigger and they're dead. To stab someone to death with a knife, you have got to be holding that knife and seeing them scream and yell, "Don't," as you are hacking. Well, that would be, movie style. But no matter how he was holding the knife, to stab repeatedly and slash and cut is horrifying. And to do it to two individuals in your life, it's horrifying. And this kid committed an insane crime of passion against his parents. I'd like to know why. What prompted this? Just horrifying. Unbelievable, no? Let us continue. Oh, by the way, down below, questions, comments, thoughts, your opinions. Oh, man, wait a minute. Wasn't there someone else who was killed by their own family? Do we have a write-up on that at all? Okay, man, yes, thank you. He says, today they're reporting that Grammy-nominated opera singer Jubilant Sykes was perforated to death. Sounds like stabbing. By his 31-year-old son. Wow, 2 in 2 days. What is going on with that? It sounds like it's becoming more personal, doesn't it? More personal. It used to be go to a mall and kill people, right? And now it's becoming more personal. They're going after a school that they have a grudge against and killing kids. Makes no sense. They're not killing their parents. People they know. It's very personal. Crazy business. Thank you, Mr. Uman, for letting me know about Jubilant Sykes. And he says, don't know if he's a trainee, but I've been saying just wait until the kids of all these leftist loons realize what has been done to them. What he wrote is, don't know if he's a tranny, but he has to write trainee to get by the YouTube censorship. I think we'll be seeing lots more of this in the future. I believe so. I'm going to take it one step further and say, not only are these children going to go after their own parents who I'm going to use the right words. These parents help their children entertain the idea. They encouraged the idea. They promoted the idea. And then they allowed the idea to move from a concept in the mind to going to a doctor and taking those steps that are absolutely irreversible. And much like a child that has been molested and raped, and they grow up and they get revenge oftentimes. They know what was done to them when they were little, and when they get older, they realized how wrong it was once they overcome the trauma. So yeah, trannies, fruitcakes, homosexuals, all these people are absolutely going to lose their mind when they realize how they were taken advantage of by parents, by teachers, by confidants, close friends, by the entertainment system, the mainstream media pushing all of this tranny, gay, drag queen, prostitution, having anal sex because the school teacher told you to. They're going to grow up. They're going to be pissed, just like these people we've been talking about. And they're going to go after them. From their parents, I'm expecting more teacher revenge. There's going to be doctor revenge. Just a prediction of John. Prediction of John. I think I agree with you, Uman. We'll be seeing a lot more of this. Unless, of course, the mainstream media hides it, which they're famous for doing, not giving us the whole truth. The police, same story. Don't release the name. Don't talk about the crime until we go scrub their social media, because it's important to hide the facts from the people. We certainly don't want any other kids to hear that these fruitcakes were tricked by their parents into being fruitcakes and ruining their lives. Good golly, Miss Molly. Let's get pewter.com back up on the screen if we can, Mr. Oliver. I want people to, and I'll keep showing this from time to time, right? Pewter.com, great company. They're not a sponsor. They just sent me these items as a Christmas gift. Let's go on. Let's continue. I got another Christmas surprise for you guys. Holy cow, Christmas surprises squirting out my ears. Massive Democrat money laundering has been discovered. That's not the Christmas surprise. The names included in the mainstream media story I got, even though you won't see it on TV or CNN, but it's still in the mainstream. It was easy to find, right? The names on this money laundering list of Democrats include Gretchen Whitmer. That's right, Gretchen the Grinch from Michigan, the governor. John Ossoff. Oh, and here's one of my favorites, Cory Booker, another discount dollar store Obama. But here's the Christmas gift, the Christmas surprise. Pam Bondi is all over this. You don't have to worry. Why don't you have to worry? Because she won't do jack shit. Don't worry about her doing her job. She won't do jack shit. Merry Christmas, Democrats. Break all the laws you wish and you want. Merry Christmas, Democrats. Launder money. Do extortion. Commit bribery. Do fraud. Do whatever you want. It's the Christmas season. You're going to get away with everything. You lucky dogs, you. Merry Christmas, Democrats. Keep fucking us all over. We love you for it. And Pam Bondi is a fucking loser. What a loser. In fact, I have a follow-up story to this. It's Christmas. It's the season of gifts, and the gifts just keep coming. Yeah, and this one is actually good for the people. Are you ready? The FBI has disrupted a, quote, credible imminent terrorist threat. What do I mean by that? 4 members of a pro-Palestinian group have been arrested, and the FBI is accusing them of plotting an attack on Los Angeles on New Year's Eve during a celebration. Okay, these aren't terrorists. They're only pro-Palestinians. They haven't done anything. All they did was plot an attack. Absolutely astounding, FBI. Magnificent. Amazing. Stupendously great news. The FBI got some clues, folks. They tracked down those suspects. They discovered their plot. And they arrested the bad guys. I won't be surprised if we discover that the FBI infiltrated the group of pro-Palestinian protesting moronic Americans and convinced them to plan a terror attack so they can arrest them and blame them for it, the way the FBI has done at numerous times in the past. They infiltrate a group of fucking morons, convince them to commit a crime, and then arrest them for plotting or conspiring to commit a crime. But in this case, folks, they saved lives. Thank you, FBI. But I got a question. If they could catch these energetic young pro-Palestinian types, why the fuck can't they catch some old, slow, perverted pedophiles who are already on a list? This list provided by an admitted couple of sexual deviants and pedophiles, Jizzy Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Why can't they catch those people? We know what they did. They're on a fucking list. We know where they did it. We have the names of the victims, and the FBI can't catch them. For Christmas, Pam Bondi, Crash Patel, Dan Bongina, for Christmas, I have to ask you this question. When the hell will America's children get to feel safe from politicians and billionaire rapist pedophiles? Just fuck you, Pam and Cash and Bongina. In fact, Bongina has come out and said, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to tell you what my future is going to be with the FBI. Dude, who cares? You haven't done anything. You've got a list of powerful, connected, important, and famous, in a lot of cases, pedophiles. You would be a hero forever. Forever. If you make that list public, if you name the names, then the arrests have to happen. You've got the fucking list of real people who have committed horrendous crimes against children numerous times. Let's talk about great patriots. Let's talk about great patriots. Colonel Smedley Butler, General Butler, Dan Daly, Chesty Puller. Okay, there's right. General Patton, MacArthur, come on, man. These are war guys. Okay, let's get away from the war guys. Let's go other heroes, right? Teddy Roosevelt, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. Hello, right? John Paul Jones, Samuel Adams, Paul Revere. These people are all famous for doing something that others weren't willing to do. And many times, as good as they got, as good as they gave, they were still villainized, but they're famous and they'll never be forgotten for doing something right. And these 3 fucking people, Bimbo Bondi and Crash Patel and Dan Bongina, could be heroes and have their names emblazoned on memorials and statues and fucking monuments, and America could be proud and children could feel safe. See where I'm going? But no, they're fucking cowards. They're afraid they're going to get hurt or maybe even killed. Oh, heaven forbid. George Washington could have been killed in the Revolution. He could have been assassinated afterwards by the king and his men. But he didn't give a fuck because he was George Washington and he was a man. Andrew Jackson was in at least, by historical records, at least half a dozen duels, and by some estimates, over 12 duels, because people wanted to kill him, and he fought them in fucking duels. They insulted his ex-wife, and he still chased the dude out of a hotel with a fucking bullwhip. He crushed the bank, a foreign banking cartel like the Federal Reserve the United States of America had in the early 1800s, and he destroyed that bank and threw it the fuck out of the country. They tried killing him. He didn't give a fuck. He was a man. He went after the most powerful and rich people on the planet. Bankers out of London. Rich, corporate, banking, important, billionaire type, important, powerful guys. He didn't care. George Washington went up against King fucking George. I'm telling you. The Declaration of Independence. First man to sign, John Hancock. Richest man in America. Had everything to lose. Didn't give a shit. Signed his name first. Signed it the biggest. So fucking King George could read his name without having to put on his fucking spectacles. His glasses. He wanted him to know exactly who he was and that he didn't give a fuck. It was about doing what's right when doing what's right matters and everything else doesn't matter. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, you have failed. You could have made your mark on history. You could have made your mark with America. You could have made your mark with God Almighty. But instead, you fucking cowered down. You took the money. You're the bitch. You're all bitches. Every last person who has that fucking list and won't release it, you're fucking losers and sellouts, and you're evil for fucking allowing these evil fucks to keep doing what they do. I don't know. Did I, oh man, do you think I made my point and all that? Children deserve to be innocent. Children deserve to have fun. They're going to grow up soon enough. They're going to pay taxes soon enough. They're going to get kicked in the fucking ass, in the nuts. They're going to get punched in the jaw, have their fucking hair pulled, and fight their whole lives. Why not just leave them innocent as children for once? Instead of turning them to sexual fucking toys for these rich fucks and all of these homosexual weirdos out here in the LGBTQIAP crowd. You bunch of sick fucks in the school and in businesses everywhere. Children deserve to feel safe and innocent as long as they can, because eventually life does show you how fucking dirty and sordid and evil it is. Once again, folks, go to Heritage Pewter for your military emblem. The Army also had its 250th year, and I believe the Navy also. Such good stories out there, folks, about patriots. Marine Corps was born in Tun Tavern, Boston. Bunch of rowdy fucking fighting men said, you know what? We need a Marine Corps. And then John Paul Jones, he got his Navy, and he said, boys, all aboard. We're going to go fuck some English up. The English who are here literally robbing, burning, and raping America. And they put an end to that shit. They didn't go, oh, we don't want to offend rich, important, powerful people. That's too scary. They didn't give a fuck. Those are patriots. And time's going to come, folks. Everyone dies, but not everyone really lives. I've lived and done everything but just a couple of things. And I've been waiting for shit to hit the fan. I know a lot of us have. The time's going to come. The time is going to come. Okay. I want to turn the show over to you guys, but not yet. Because I want to talk about the shootings in Australia at a place called Bondi Beach. That's right. Pam Bondi. Bondi Beach. Interesting choice of places. So allegedly there was a some kind of Jewish celebration that was taking place on the beach. I remember when Australia would arrest old women, children, people who wanted to go to the beach during the COVID lockdown. But COVID was so dangerous, so contagious, so awful that it was less deadly than the average flu. But still, we have to shut everything down. And the fucking Australians, right, were just as bad as anywhere else. These fucking people. Anyways, some shooters decided they would show up with some guns and start shooting at these Jews who are having a menorah party. I guess that's their candle with the seven candles, right? Well, they want to blame anti-Semites. They want to blame terrorists. But guess what? Guess who stopped the shooter they were capable of shooting? A Muslim. Shocker. A Muslim man tackled the shooter and stopped him. Find that fascinating. Good for him. That's a +1 for the fucking Muslims. Good deal. That's interesting. Where were the police? Oh, yeah. Number 2. The police station has been reported to literally be in line of sight from the site of the mass shooting. You know, it's down a couple blocks, but you can see it. How interesting. And on top of that, it only took the police 10 minutes to get there. 10 minutes it took the police to get down to the shooting site. And they did nothing to stop the shooting. A fucking guy, a stranger, tackled the guy. Women police showed up. Men police showed up. The women did nothing. They hid. They hid behind cars. They would not stop the shooter. I guess we don't need people who are cowards and afraid to address the shooter. The way those fucking jerks, those guys in Uvalde, Texas, during the Texas school shooting, they went into the building and did not stop the shooter. They were inside that building for 10 minutes, 15 minutes? They were using hand sanitizer to make sure their hands were clean, but they wouldn't go down and stop the shooter, who continued to go from room to room killing students, children, and the police there did nothing. And the police in Bondi Beach did nothing. I think they were shooting for 20 fucking minutes. Oh, it gets better. It gets very interesting, folks. While the shooter, in the videos, you can see him. And they're going to doctor these. They're going to crop them. They're going to edit them. While the shooter was standing in the wide open, on his legs, in the wide open, not hiding behind a car or a wall or a tree or from inside a blind. No, the shooter was standing in the wide open. And there were men standing in front of him while he's shooting. He shoots. He works the action. He shoots. He works the action. He shoots. And right in front of him are 2 fat old guys standing there looking at him as he's shooting right in their direction. They're standing there. They're facing the shooter. They're walking slowly and stopping and just staring at him in plain sight. They're not attempting to hide. I guess while bullets are whizzing by their fucking heads, over their shoulders, through their armpits maybe. They're not attempting to hide. They're not attempting to run. They're not ducking down. They're just looking at this fucking guy shooting. Really? This guy's shooting for 20 minutes and he only managed to kill 11 people? That's a fucking miracle of miracles. How can he only hit 11 people if they're just standing around watching him shoot? Are these people fucking stupid? Or was this a false flag? Pure bullshit false flag. And they didn't know they were being filmed from that angle to show them. What was that, the fucking director? The assistant director? Okay, now keep shooting. Oh, excellent. Good. The framing just is amazing. That looks great. Way to look like you're killing someone while you're actually not doing shit. Blanks. Now, in addition to that little gem, there just happened to be an October 7th Jew. Remember, October 7th, a few years ago in Israel, they were attacked by Hamas, supported by Hezbollah, the invasion of Israel by a bunch of guys in ultralight planes. It could have been taken down by taking a couple of rocks on a bolo string and throw it, right? Really? Yeah, there are reports in Israel and talked about in Congress in Israel that the Israeli government under Netanyahu let them invade. Well, enough of that. We have an October 7th Jew who survived that incident. He was one of the people that just miraculously survived all that terrorism. He just happened to be at the Pam Bondi Beach in Australia this weekend for that false flag attack. What an interesting guy. What a character to show up at multiple false flags. And he did more than that. He did more than just show up there and then claim to be a survivor. Oh, no. He managed to get injured so bad, his entire head, his bald head, and his face was covered with blood, and his arm was covered in blood. And he's laying on the ground, holding his phone, and takes a selfie of himself. If you've been shot so badly, your head is just bleeding everywhere, blood everywhere, you're like, dude, what a time to take a fucking selfie. And of course, the authorities take that picture and use it in an advertisement to claim that the Jews are being attacked again and anti-Semitism laws need to be passed. Unfucking believable. And on top of that photo op bullshit selfie, and by the way, AI has studied the picture and said the blood is the wrong color, it's not right, and it's fucking staged. I didn't need AI to tell me that, but it was good to see that even AI knows bullshit when it sees it. So he's got his little advertisement out. Oh, the Jews are being attacked. Well, they were saved by a fucking Muslim. Yeah, and they want, here we go. Thank you, Mr. Uman. Leave that up. King Bibi Netanyahu immediately runs to the cameras like a camera whore, like Pam Bondi even, and immediately calls for an international crackdown on anti-Semitism. Tighter gun control restrictions. Australia already fucking damn not allowed to have guns. Where'd this guy get a gun? And there's more on the gun thing. He shouldn't have had the gun. The gun shouldn't have been available. He wasn't authorized. How the fuck did he get a gun in a country that doesn't allow guns? And then, bro, hey, look, Netanyahu, no one ran away except the cops. People standing around watching a shooter take his turn shooting different people. It's all bullshit, and we all know it, Mr. Netanyahu. Fuck off. And number 7, why is Mossad, the Israeli CIA, why is Mossad in Australia now showing up and involving themselves in an investigation? Or are they there to cover up an entirely bungled false flag production? Well, don't worry, average Joe 6-pack, dumb fuck, left-wingers, right? All of these people out here who always believe the news, they're going to believe the news. They're going to believe whoever they want did it. I don't have any concrete evidence that proves this is a false flag. I just look at everything that's there and say, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right, that's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. What other conclusion can I come to? It's almost like we now know where to look and what to look for and how to search for it on the internet. And then finding and saving videos, comments, pictures, and you save them onto your computer so you don't lose them and you can study them and go, this is bullshit. Then you can take it and you can upload it to social media and keep sharing it while they try and take everything down and hide it. Right? And to prove at least that there's a great possibility that this is a bullshit false flag. My final point, number 8, we have had dozens of fake swastikas and anti-Jew graffiti and anti-Jew vandalism and anti-Jew property damage committed at Jewish properties and synagogues, and in at least a fucking dozen cases, right? Police investigations have proved that it was the Jews themselves who own those properties and synagogues who committed the crimes in an effort to gain sympathy, to gain support, and to frame others as anti-Semitic and anti-Jew. These people are fucking liars. They're synagogue of Satan assholes. Every last one that pulls these type of false flag lies to push this anti-Semitism propaganda and this pro-Israeli propaganda. And it's amazing, folks. Today, it was either today or this weekend, Rabbi Shmuley got in a fight with a bunch of Jews who are not Zionists. You see, here's the problem. It's not all the Jews, folks. It's the Zionists. It's the Talmudic Judaism Zionists that are pushing this supremacy and playing the race card and the Semitism card and the Jew card. They're the problem. There are lots of good Jews out there, and they're coming out and they're fighting this bullshit. They're completely against what is being done in their name. And one guy even went on the internet and said, hey, the only one making it more dangerous for Jews to live are the Zionists by doing everything they're doing, from the genocide in Palestine to all these false flags and these attacks on anyone. Anytime anyone argues with them, they immediately call them anti-Semites, and they threaten them, and they attack them, and they cancel them. Kind of like Roseanne Barr went after Nick Fuentes and is just completely attacking this kid and telling him he is going to be on his knees to serve the Jews for what punishment is coming from him. He's going to be so sorry. Really? That's what they do. They come out and they play the victim, and then they threaten you. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Everything is just this whole world. The World Economic Forum, unbelievable. The European Union, unbelievable what they're doing. They're still threatening the United States of America that if we don't support this war against Russia and Ukraine, that they're going to dump all of their treasuries and ruin the American government's finance system. I double dog dare you, Europe, you bunch of fucking cowards. Not the people of Europe, the governments of Europe. Just like the government of the United States of America has turned on us, the people, and sold out to enrich themselves through insider trading, really nice jobs that they're going to get as soon as they're out of Congress or out of government work, getting great jobs and contracts and special deals and book deals. And we'll never learn about their secret bank accounts that have been flooded with millions of dollars in a numbered offshore account that the United States government, the IRS, doesn't ever get to know about, so they don't have to pay taxes. And not to mention all the fucking government employees that don't pay taxes like you and I do. Unbelievable. Shit, I guess I could keep going all the way to the end, but I do want to hear some of what you guys have to talk about. So let's talk about it. I can't leave it alone. Fuck it. I got to go here. Diving Frog is going to wait. Put on your surprise face. Oh, no, really? A Holocaust survivor and a young child were among the victims in the terror attack in Sydney, Bondi Beach, during their Hanukkah celebration. Hanukkah. You light a menorah for Hanukkah. Now, of course, it was a helpless child is one of the victims who's Jewish. A helpless child. And somehow yet another Holocaust survivor. There's another Holocaust survivor is a victim. If 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, how come so many Jews have survived that and lived, and they seem to pop up everywhere on the planet 80 years later? 80 years ago, folks, is when that happened, meaning any survivor of the Holocaust, even a 1-year-old infant, would be 86 years old today. A 10-year-old in World War II at the end of the war would be 95 years old. Yet these survivors show up everywhere. There are more survivors of a people who were genocided, which means almost wiped off the planet. There's more survivors of that than there are people who survived the war. The tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands of war heroes who defeated, fought, died, killed. But no, these people seem to live forever. I'm tired of the exploitation of the world through Jewish victimhood. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of fucking hearing about it. And the reason is because, look, Miss Rachel, a little American woman who likes to teach children and entertain them, she can't say Palestinian children deserve to live without being called an anti-Semite, threatened with murder, and attacked by Jews everywhere. It's just too fucking much. It is. It's too much. Okay, now let's do it. Fuck. Now let's do it, man. Who are we going to put up there? Who was that? It was a Diving Frog. He says, I think these people get their fame and fortune by allowing the establishment to have fun with the kids. When older kids retaliate. Is he kind of saying that maybe Rob Reiner let his son be used and now he's older and he's retaliating? I don't know if that's what's being said here, but I have heard and read many stories by famous and both non-famous, I was going to say infamous, but non-famous people who have grown up, and they point back. Disney stars, right? Disney TV, Nickelodeon kids who said that while they're in show business, they're being molested and abused. And yeah, you bet they're going to retaliate. At some point, they do. Women typically just come out and tell the truth and say, it was him, right? And then they get trashed and destroyed. Unbelievable. Yep. I tell you. Wow. Mr. Uman, who's next? I know we've only got about 15 minutes, and I'd really like to see what you guys have to think about what's going on. Robin G says, Newsmax is talking with Glenn Beck today. So Fox News Corporate is now in the business of matching donations with the Satanic Temple. Okay. Here we go. So organizations are donating money to the Satanic Temple or the Church of Satan. And Fox News is joining that. Other news organizations, other organizations are openly sending money to devout, openly satanic people. Satan means adversary. They're evil. They commit evil. Abortion is a sacrament to them. They celebrate it. And I don't even want to talk about the reported activities that these people commit while performing satanic ritual abortion. Horrifying. Glenn Beck threw a giant fit on TV. And it's like, Glenn Beck, where you been? And he's done this before, folks. He's come out all fire and brimstone. We're going to stop these evil bastards. And then he sells out. And then a couple years later, he'll come back out again and start doing investigative reporting and hard talking and hard interviews and kicking some ass. And then he'll just sell out. And everyone's like, fuck Glenn Beck. Well, he's back. And he's like, we have all the information. We've done all the investigations. We handed over this information right to the FBI. Pam Bondi, the FBI, everyone's got it. They've got the information on all these child trafficking, pedophiles, sons of bitches. We provided it to the government, and they've done nothing. Absolutely nothing with it. It's like, okay, Glenn, you're back again. Are you doing this because you want more attention, or are you just waiting for them to pay you off again? I don't know. I don't know what Glenn Beck's in this for, because he's wishy-washy. I'm just sick and tired of these sick fucks getting away with everything while the rest of the world suffers. While you and you and you and you, and definitely you have a retirement fund and Social Security that are being pilfered by the government and Wall Street bankers. You should have, if you put in $100,000, you should easily have $1 million in 20 to 30 years of retirement. I'm sorry, 20 or 30 years of investment for your retirement. Yet people put in $100,000 and they get all the way to retirement and they have $200,000. You've been in the market forever, yet somehow you manage to lose money all the time. Well, it's a haircut. Well, market corrections. Well, wait a minute. Why is it some people make 50 times, 100 times, 10,000 times? In fact, I think Ilhan Omar is like 17,000 times her money. Not just 100% or 200%, 17,000% increase in like 4 fucking years. Yet you and I, if we've got enough money to send into a retirement account, it takes 30 years just to double it. All right, enough of my bullshit. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Diving Frog. Let's see. Let's go. Where else we going here, Mr. Uman? We got Mikey G says, increased cosmic radiation from a weaker magnetosphere is causing mental problems worldwide. Well, that's a hell of a conspiracy theory. I'm not going to say that you're not right. I'm just going to say I don't know how to prove that you are. But I do know that people can take a radiation detector that detects microwaves and go stand quarter mile from a cell tower and it reads, and they can go half a mile from a cell tower and it's picking up microwave, which heats and cooks. And the closer you get to a cell tower, the needle starts going whoa, all the way to red line and breaks it. Poof. Right? Yeah. They're cooking us here with radiation, man. Much less the cosmic radiation issue. And then you got people who decided to take an experimental drug, which was incorrectly labeled a vaccine, and it's causing clots, serious clots that are causing heart attacks, myocarditis, pericarditis, pulmonary embolism and diseases, aneurysms in the brain, and fucking strokes. Those are the ones that people die from. What about the people that took the Jim Jones juice, that vaccine, and haven't died? Are they getting little clots instead of giant clots? Those little clots kill parts of their brain, so parts of their brain are dying off, and they can't use them anymore because they got a blood clot stuck in the blood vessel, right? It's like a clogged sink. It won't go down if the brain doesn't get oxygen. If the brain doesn't get nutrients, guess what happens to the brain? It fucking dies. Mental problems. If your brain isn't working 100%, what if your brain's 90%? If you go from, say, 100 IQ, an average person, and you lose 10% of your brain, you're down to 90%. Then you're down to 80%. Then you're down to 70%. Now you're a fucking retard. But you're alive. You've got mental problems. You're becoming violent. Trump derangement syndrome type behavior. Woo! Crazy business, folks. I got to tell you. All right, let's do it, Uman. Who's up next? And it's Uman. Here we go. The Food and Drug Administration is rolling back the red tape. They want to speed up cures to the market. Pfizer hasn't been in business, 120, 130, 140 years? Pfizer, Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. Guess how many cures they have? They have treatments. They have drugs that alleviate symptoms. They don't cure anything. They don't cure a damn fucking thing, these companies. All they have are treatments. And treatments. They'll treat you all day long. They'll alleviate this symptom, but hey, this drug causes this other symptom. That now you have that. And so you need a drug to treat that symptom. Yeah, Uman says, sounds a lot like Operation Warp Speed, Part 2. Yeah, let's get some more bullshit cures, because they're not cures. And more vaccines. They want a universal mRNA vaccine, so it's more than just for COVID. Oh, you need this one for everything. Fuck you, FDA. Yeah, Heidi says, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Everyone with integrity that worked on the mRNA vaccine / mRNA, and it truly is gene therapy. Look up gene therapy. That's what the mRNA vaccines are. It is gene therapy. It rewrites your gene, your genetic code. Then it tells it to make blood clots. It tells it to shut off your immune system. It tells your body, feed those cancer cells more. Don't destroy them, feed them. And people are fucking dying. Heidi, you're right. What could go wrong, my lady? What could go wrong? Good golly. I'm telling you, folks. Unbelievable. Who's next, man? We got 4 minutes left. And it's Blue Cord Devil. He says, I have no desire to return to the person I was when I came home from my deployments. Yet, if I must, may it happen while I'm still healthy enough to help the cause, not hurt it. Let's go back to his first statement, please. When Blue Cord Devil came home from his deployments, I know nothing about Blue Cord Devil's military branch, the years of service, and what he did or did not do. But I will tell you this, if he is saying that, he recognizes and understands that the person that came back after being deployed was a very different human being. And that's what happens to veterans who serve overseas, who serve in a war zone, who have been attacked, and who have been asked by their government to serve and follow orders. And a lot of those people become very disturbed, upset, because they're hurt, and they're also very willing and knowledgeable about how to solve problems with violence. Yes, solve problems with violence. If we can go to number 2 again, Mr. Uman, where he says, I want to be healthy enough to help the cause, not hurt it. What he means is he knows how to perform those actions and deeds that no one really is born with unless you're trained and put in those environments. There's a line. I think I've sent this to some people and told them about it. There's a line. It makes you think a lot. There's a line. And it's in front of everybody. And very few people are asked to cross this line. Once you cross that line, you cross it by taking action that no one else in their right mind would ever think to do. But now that you've crossed that line and done it, you can do it again and again and again and again and keep doing it. Because you've done it once and you're like, I know how to do that now. Right? It's awful. It's terrible, but I can do it and I understand how to deal with it. Some people freak out. They get PTSD. They can't handle life. Right? They have problems. Other people, they come back. These are veterans, folks. Veterans. They come back and they go over there in that country, over there across that body of water, over there in that land, I did things that I can't do here at home in America. I was asked to do those things and I did those things, and I don't ever want to have to do those things again. But in the event of an emergency, break the glass and I can become that person. And that line, once again, that's out in front of me, once it starts and those men, those veterans cross that line, it's going to be trouble. And that's what I think Blue Cord Devil is talking about. So if it's not time and people start crossing that line and taking care of the problems, A lot of people are going to sympathize with you, and a lot of people are going to say you're the bad guy. That's why I'm continually trying to pull myself back away from the line and say, hey, look, right? We'll all know when it's time. We'll all know when the line comes to us rather than us walking to find that line and cross it. I don't mean to be so cryptic, but it's a kind of a very important topic, right? Once you cross the line, it becomes easy. Blue Cord Devil, thank you for the great support. Stay healthy. Watch your six. Stay calm. We'll all know. One last time, pewter.com, pewter.com. Great company, great products. Look them up. American made by real Americans who appreciate and love America, unlike our own government. These people are good people. Give them a call. Look them up. I'm sure they can still get you a gift if you want to give a gift to yourself or to loved ones, whatever have you. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Merry Christmas. I love you all and thank you for supporting me. Semper Fi. God bless America.
Ho, 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 ho.